Provence is our last stop on our family road trip in France. Gouges is full of visitors and has tons of real estate offices. It's easy to see why so many people would love to move to Provence. With all of the design elements now in place, we placed our order and we're crossing our fingers that everything will arrive before Italy shuts down in August.
Before we left, we realized that we had a big termite issue, right, Mom?
Oh, yes.
Welcome back to our renovation in Tuscany. If it's your first time joining us, take a look inside our villa and explore our previous videos at the top right. Provence is our last stop on our family road trip in France. We enjoyed our final few days of vacation before heading back to the villa. Our last stay was at a lovely winery in Provence. We had a small apartment that worked great for the three of us. And of course, Rooney. The next morning, we grabbed some coffee and took it nice and slow. It was a wonderful day to relax and hang out by the pool. By dinner time, we headed out to a restaurant in the nearby town of Gouges. You might recognize this scenic town from the movie A Good Year with Russell Crowe and French actress Marion Cotillard. Once we finished dinner, it cooled down enough for us to take a little stroll around the town. Gouges is full of visitors and has tons of real estate offices. It's easy to see why so many people would love to move to Provence. The next day, we decided to venture out to Avignon, a much larger city surrounded by medieval walls. This city was home to the papacy before it moved back to Rome during the 14th century. We spent the day walking around this historical city, visiting shops, and Rob even worked out some great furniture deals. We weren't able to film in the shop, but we'll be sure to share our finds with you in an upcoming episode. On our last day, we explored this small town that is located on the Sorge River. It has lovely restaurants lining the river and is known for its antique markets. Of course, we did our fair share of shopping and looking for antiques to slowly start furnishing the villa. It was such a hot day, and after lunch, we did our best to do some exploring around the town. We came across Gautier Municipal Park, and my mom, of course, wanted a peek inside the mansion. France was such a wonderful place to unwind and gather perspective. It seemed to just fly by, and before we knew it, we headed back home. As soon as we returned back home to the villa, we had a full day's worth of appointments with our contractor, plumber, bank director, and amazing bathroom specialist, Andrea. We spent the afternoon finalizing the last details for the ground floor bathroom. With all of the design elements now in place, we placed our order and we're crossing our fingers that everything will arrive before Italy shuts down in August. Construction has been at a complete standstill because we were waiting to see if we would receive financing for a special government bonus program. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it's going to happen, so we're focusing on the projects that we've already budgeted for this year, like all of the bathrooms.
You got it?
You get a workout doing this.
Gentle.
Get a workout. Okay, there we go.
There's the sea view.
Oh my God, what a beautiful day it has been today.
Isn't it gorgeous? Before we left, we realized that we had a big termite issue, right, Mom?
Oh yes.
We came back from vacation. Mind you, I had cleaned this room. All of this dust that you see around this wood furniture, and this is all brand new because I had cleaned diligently. So you can see all the dust piles on this furniture, and even here, these are new piles of dust that have formed while we were away on vacation. The idea is before this termite problem gets any worse, and jumps to all the other furniture and all the wood, we need to start taking care of the existing issue. So we'll take these out to the yard so that it doesn't get worse, and then we'll start working on eradicating the termites from this chair here and see if we can get somewhere.
My mom and I got to work and took out all of the termite-infested chairs that were beyond repair.
My mom and I are out here because we're gonna start working on the termite situation in these particular chairs to see if it actually works. I bought a solution that you're supposed to inject into each and every little hole. That's why we decided to toss out the other chairs, because there was too many holes in those chairs. It was gonna take us days to inject every hole to make sure that all of the larvae and the termite is dead. So we'll start with this one since I don't think it has too many holes. As far as the supplies are concerned, I have everything here. It wasn't too expensive. The syringes where we're gonna inject this solution here, especially for wood to take care of the termites. We have gloves here to make sure that our hands are protected. And we also have masks. And we're in a well-ventilated area, just as the instructions state. Then after we inject the furniture, we're supposed to paint over the solution just to make sure that we fill every nook and cranny. And the plastic wrap for each object, and then we'll be taping up everything so it kind of holds solution inside. Let's get started.
It was really tedious, but we divvied up the work and tackled a chair each, making sure to start in one spot and carefully follow the trail of termites to ensure injecting each and every hole. We then wrapped up everything in a large plastic sheet, carefully taped each chair to make sure there weren't any holes, and set them aside in the basement where there isn't any wood, just in case.
We're gonna be working on the door that's down here in the basement, which is right over here. It also has a lot of holes of termites. You can see here, there's lots of little itty bitty tiny holes that are on this piece of wood here. You can see all the little holes, and you can see the dust pile, so they're active. And they have made their way into the darker wood. You can see here, they've also made their way into this wood. And from what Giacomo told me when he came over to have an on-site meeting, this wood here is a different type of wood. It's softer, so they were able to penetrate this easily. This is a much harder wood. But here in the basement, you can see they even attacked this. So we're gonna go ahead and treat it and see if we can get rid of them.
During this whole process, we started to realize that it's best to call in the professionals to evaluate this termite problem ASAP. We want to avoid any issues with our new kitchen cabinets. All right. Hi, Mom.
Hi, baby.
What do you think about our journey moving from Los Angeles to Tuscany, Italy? What honestly was going on in your mind when we decided, hey, we're gonna go ahead and do this?
I thought it was an adventure for you guys. You were talking about you and your husband Rob moving, and I thought, oh, they're just gonna go on an adventure. They just got married. They feel like moving somewhere else. It's just gonna be temporary. That you guys were going on an adventure, and I was okay with that.
Yeah. So you thought it was gonna be temporary,
Yes,
even though we said we're moving there and we're not coming back.
right. I didn't think that was gonna be the case.
I could still see how you would want the move to just be temporary. When did you realize that it wasn't temporary anymore?
I guess after you've been living here for a couple of years and you continue to renew your visa and you were getting more work and more clients,
Yeah.
that's when I realized that you really enjoy living in Italy, and I could see you living here
Yeah.
in Italy.
How did you feel about the whole entire buying process? I know that you were really involved with that and you were kind of going through the motions with us last year. We had just put in our first offer. I believe that it was rejected, so we put in a second offer and we were waiting to hear back during the first part of our vacation, and I believe they had a couple weeks to get back to us to have a final answer. And so my mom was with us through that whole entire being on vacation, trying to wait to see if you're gonna be getting your dream home. And yeah.
I know it was very nerve-wracking, and you were texting and calling your real estate agent to see if you heard anything, and of course the sellers waited until the very last minute to let you know.
Yeah. And they said no.
Right.
Yeah.
And then we came back from vacation, from our road trip, and decided to visit the house with you and Robert to see what it was about.
Yeah.
And once I visited the house and saw the view and where it was located,
Yeah.
I said, just give them what they want.
Just give them what they want. Yeah, it was hard. I think it really, it was really difficult for us to figure out, okay, when is this getting to be too much as far as what we needed to offer, and when is it not gonna make sense for us anymore? How does it feel now visiting us and we own the house and the house is cleaned out from all the junk that originally was in the house?
It feels incredible. The house is big. Of course, you're still renovating, and you're just at the beginning of your renovation, and I know how hard it is. And you're living out of boxes and cartons, and
Yeah.
it's a challenge. And the makeshift kitchen is tiny, but all in all, it's going to be worth it in the long run, because I see the potential of the house.
Yeah.
And how roomy and comfortable it's going to be for you in the long run. But it's going to be a challenge, this whole renovation, just as we learned today in the last 24 hours about the termites. And us trying to work on the problem. But of course, I know that you're going to get a professional to come out here to address it.
Yeah.
So those are things that happen when you buy a property.
Even with the termites and the challenges of the renovation, we're so happy to be back home, and we're looking forward to continuing work on the bottom floor and finally installing our first bathroom. Make sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave us a comment. We love hearing your thoughts on our villa restoration in Tuscany.